How long does it take to get a fucking drink? My God, man. There
Right,
we
I'm
are.
back.
You're gonna have fun going through that.
Intermission music. I just sort of expect that. Right, so now it's time for worst slash most disappointing games of the year. Or, as
Whoa.
Chug puts it, the most naff games ever.
Yeah, the naffest.
The naffiest games of the naff.
Pretty much. Who went first with the other one? The top
Um,
games.
that's hard for me to remember.
Fuck.
Let me think back. I think it was you because you said CS:GO.
Oh yeah. Go on.
Right, so well, I'll go first then. I'm probably going to do this one in order personally.
Oh, okay.
So, right. So first one on my list here is Worms Revolution,
Oh.
which is kind of controversial, I would say,
Well,
because
yeah, because I've got it on my wish list on Steam because I'd like to pick it up because I like Worms, but at the same time, I've known from like the past few Worms games that I'll buy them, then play them, and think, yeah, this is all right, and then never play them again.
and that's the thing. It's just all right. It's not like it's not so much worst. It's just disappointing for me.
Yeah, I think for me, what I've noticed is that a lot of recent Worms games just tend to be really samey.
Yeah, I mean, they've updated the physics in the game, but they've got added
Yeah,
like the water physics, which is like really cool. Like,
yeah,
but the thing is, it's still essentially the same, and there's not enough new weapons, really. Normally, the way they change it up is they throw in some new weapons and like new landscapes. But with
yeah.
this one, there's only four landscapes, and there's only like three new weapons, four new weapons maybe,
But it
and
has Matt Berry.
three of them are water based. So it's like, hmm.
But Matt Berry's awesome.
Yeah, but again, the single player is pretty much just 20. Actually, um, 8 times 4. It's 30. It's 32 death matches, pretty much a single player, and you just have Matt Berry talk at the start of each one.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of
I think my big problem with it is is its price. I do think it's
it's
a
very
bit too
pricey
high.
for the style of game. Considering like Worms Armageddon 2 when that came out, that was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it does seem a bit
And I'd still
steep.
say that's the better purchase personally,
Mm,
just for the variety and because it's got more than just like just standard deathmatch on it. You can do like forts or like there's I don't know. There's a couple of different modes on it, and then like there's some downloads for it, which are fairly cheap. So,
mm,
and that's why I'd say get Worms Armageddon 2 over Worms Revolution.
yeah,
And just yeah, Worms Revolution isn't enough of a step up in terms of Worms games. So
yeah. I can, even though I haven't played it, I can agree with you purely because a lot of the recent Worms games have been like that for me.
yeah,
So yeah, I can sort of imagine that. They add some things, but they don't add enough to keep me interested. As see, I still think the first Worms game is the best one.
I still like that one a lot, but I think my favorite one is still Worms Armageddon.
Yeah.
So
See, I loved that one with a passion as well. So,
yeah, I'll probably pick that one up on Steam at some point if I can, because people
Ooh,
still play that one online. So
yeah.
right,
Ooh.
what would you going? Are you going by um least worst to worst, or are you going like just in any order?
Um, some sort of order. I've decided on an order, not in an order of most disappointing or most naff,
Yeah, yeah,
but my personal order.
yeah,
Okay, let's like first off, let's get this out of the way. Black Ops 2.
yeah.
Now, honestly, I'm not saying that it is the worst game of the year, but at the same time, I have played it, so I do have, some kind of non-biased opinion to say that it is just not worth buying, in my opinion,
Yeah.
because you get people say the same thing over and over again, It's the fucking same game. I don't care what anyone says. It's it's Call of Duty. They don't add enough. They have two developers working on it. They've it's sort of I don't know how to describe it because on one hand they've got a winning formula after all this time because
Yeah.
people still buy the fuck out of it. So they don't want to change too much, otherwise it wouldn't be Call of Duty. But then they've still got to add new stuff to make it less like the last one. But you know what I mean? There's a difference between say like Halo 2 and Halo 3 and Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah.
Those two were so alike, and it's the same thing with like all the Call of Duties are the same. You know, you can say, oh, there's new weapons, there's new kill streaks, the campaign's different. You know, it's got zombies.
You get to ride a horse.
See, I don't even like the zombie mode. You know, I'm a big fan of like zombie-esque things, but
Yeah.
the zombie mode, I think they're just milking it.
It
And to
does
make
seems like that's the trademark for the Treyarch ones.
yeah, exactly. And sure, bring on the hate wagon. It's got
Oh,
Avenged. It just seems to me that they're pioneering the zombie thing with Avenged Sevenfold.
yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks that they're just using Avenged Sevenfold to just market the game for them?
Yeah, well, they kept bringing up different artists, didn't they? Kept saying, "Oh, this person's making a song for this game." Like, yeah, Trent
Yeah,
Reznor doing the soundtrack and like
yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold working on a song and
Well, the thing is, I'm not a big fan of Avenged Sevenfold anyway, which kind of knocks the game down.
well, yeah,
But even then, you know, I cannot justify paying top dollar for any Call of Duty game now. You know, uh, it's ridiculous on every level the way that they charge top dollar. Modern Warfare 3 is still going at full price at £40 on Steam on PC, which I think
yeah,
is absolutely ridiculous.
it is pretty insane. Especially when people say that one's the worst one, and then like,
Yeah, even though it's because it's one of the more recent ones, it's one of the most popular. So,
yeah,
but even then, I just don't find it fun at all. You know, I had my time with Call of Duty, with Modern Warfare 1 and a tiny bit of Modern Warfare 2. I had my fun with it then, and it died out forever because I realized with World at War that this is the exactly same as Call of Duty 4, so I just completely just blew it off and didn't play it. And it's the same story with Black Ops 2, to be honest. I just can't justify buying it at all.
yeah,
I will compliment it though and say it does make it is you know going from I played Black Ops 2 and then I played Modern Warfare 3 and it made me realize how bad Modern Warfare 3 is.
yeah. I mean, to me, I think the Treyarch ones have always been better, even though most people were like, "No, Infinity Ward, so much better." Modern Warfare, because
Well,
like Treyarch made Call of Duty 3, World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and
yeah,
I enjoyed Call of Duty 3 because that was similar to Battlefield in a way, like the multiplayer,
yeah,
like more players do with vehicles and stuff like that. And then World at War had some of the same features, plus it had some awesome, it had an awesome soundtrack on it. To me,
mm.
anyway. So
But yeah, uh, I suppose it's just the same story as everyone else that doesn't is not a fan of Call of Duty.
yeah,
It's just not fun anymore. And, you know, I've got better games to play and better things to spend my money on. You know, I know so many people who play the games and I just don't understand why. Because, I'm done with this game. Can we talk about something else?
yeah, we can. We'll talk about my fourth most disappointing worst game,
What is that?
Doom 3 BFG edition.
Oh, but it's Doom! It's best game ever!
That's the. It's good. It's good in the sense that it's Doom 3,
Mm.
but as a remake, it's a bad remake, and then the extras it added in were not very good. So it's sort of worse than the original.
Now, you see, I haven't played it, and I did want it for the time that it was like when it came out. I was like, oh my God, I really want it.
Yeah,
But then I started to look into it, and I was just like, you know what, fuck this.
I mean, it's cool the things they did add into it. They added in the expansion that came out for it,
Yeah,
and then they added in the lost levels into it. They also added in Doom 1 and Doom 2 as part of the package, and it's like half the price of a full game. So
yeah,
that was one of the cool things about it. The HD this looks all right at times in the game, but the
yeah,
textures in the game can go really bad and not be rendered properly, or like when they fully rendered, they don't look good at all because it just looks like it's been like upscaled really
well,
bad.
yeah, but I suppose that's part and parcel with making a HD remake of something that were in 2004. So
Well, yeah, but like it's more to do with like how many glitches seem to be more apparent now.
yeah,
And like the lost levels just seem more like, oh, we've just thrown these together from bits of the other parts of the campaign instead of making like not making new levels, but the way they was advertising it was there was you know part that they cut out of the campaign and they've added it back in, and
yeah,
that's what
yeah. That's
it
that's what I thought.
yeah, and it just doesn't. It's definitely not that, and that's probably what tips it over for some people. And then like on a PC version of the game, apparently Doom 2 is censored.
Really?
Um, there's two Wolfenstein levels.
Yeah,
They're censored. Instead of having like the Nazi soldiers or whatever they are, those guys in the blue,
yeah.
you get just regular zombie men.
Oh, that
You also
sucks.
don't have the songs from those levels that are on them. You have one of the songs from Doom 2 on them,
Ugh.
and you also all of the imagery on the walls, like the Hitler posters, the like Nazi flags and everything, swastikas. There's none of those now,
That sucks.
and it's just kind of stupid. I haven't. I mean, I've got the Xbox version, so it's not affect. It doesn't affect me mainly because I've got the game in. I've got Doom 2 anyway, so.
Yeah,
But it's kind of stupid they've done that, just because. Come on, it's the game.
yeah,
The original game didn't have that in, and nobody really complained about Doom 2 for that reason.
yeah. Exactly.
Uh, and just besides that, it just seems like id had better things on in mind or something at the time because when you're playing through it, it just feels very half-assed as a remake. It doesn't feel like the remake is done right.
Putting all the effort into that Rage DLC.
Well, yeah, yeah, after Rage DLC. Maybe they were. I don't know, but it's just they were just kept saying this is gonna be like a great remake, and with all the bugs and glitches and the lost levels stuff, I haven't gone back to it since I recorded that multiplayer match.
Now, you see, for all the things you've just mentioned, I could live with them. I could put it to one side and say fair enough.
Yeah,
The main selling point for me was just to be able to play the game at the right resolution
yeah.
because you could only play it in 4:3 on the PC, which made it's not the right resolution, and that's something
No,
that
no, yeah, that's annoying.
it really rustles my jimmy when a game's at the wrong resolution for some reason. But that was one of the major selling points. But the thing that absolutely like blew the game off totally for me was the fact that the flashlight is always
Yeah, that was a main
shoulder
mechanic.
mounted.
That was a
They
main
they
mechanic they just dropped
yeah,
altogether.
they took out one of the main features that made Doom 3 unique, which totally killed it. I was like, yeah, I don't want. I'd rather just play the original version of Doom 3.
And it didn't include the co-op mode either, which was on the Xbox version when that
Hmm.
came out. And even though like all the levels were made slightly wider, so like the hallways were slightly wider, so you could have two people going down them.
Yeah,
It still was really fun to play because you could be like have one person using a flashlight while the other one's trying to shoot, or like you could both be trying to kill things but be shooting in the dark or whatever, and be like really
yeah,
cool. Or just go beating the crap out of everything using a flashlight melee.
yeah.
But it's just oh yeah, the frame rate drops are just terrible. I don't know how they got through testing at all, but the frame rate drops, going from 60 frames a second down to like 2. It's
God,
just terrible, and it lasts for a good 15 seconds plus. So
God. Uh,
it's
it is
that
a shame,
it's
really.
disappointing. That's why I put it on there because it's just disappointing.
I am disappointed.
Yeah, that's the reason I put Worms on there because that was disappointing. But
Yeah,
we're coming up to the ones that are more worse than disappointing.
legitimately bad.
Yeah, for me anyway. So, next one for you.
Right, let's edit here. Just give me a sec. I heard some kind of music.
There is no music.
Right,
Right, time for your game. Your next game.
my next game is Planet Side 2.
Oh,
Now,
people are gonna be like, "But Chog, it's free and it's awesome."
see, I'm half expecting, what the fuck's that? Well, for those of you who don't know, Planet Side 2 is a recently fully released uh, free to play Battlefield ripoff. I was trying to put it into a category, but you think Battlefield 3 with futuristic shit, free to play MMO sort of thing.
Yep, I think that describes it
Uh,
pretty well.
yeah, I haven't played that much of Battlefield, but I've seen plenty of it, and I know that it's exactly like it. The premise is like you've got three big factions. It's like one big massive war. There's no story or anything. It's just thrust straight into a big massive map. There's hundreds upon hundreds of people on each team fighting each other, and it's basically you just control different points and you battle it out for this big massive land. Which the premise, it sounds pretty good, but there's so many problems with it. It's unreal. Now, the first one is the fact that it's a Battlefield rip-off to the core. There's a reason why I don't own Battlefield. It's because I just get bored of it.
Yeah.
And I got bored of this really quickly because I know this would be exactly like Battlefield. I'd rather play Battlefield than this. Cause, and it just feels like Battlefield in every way. It's a big, massive war. There's different classes, transportation, and loads of other stuff. It's you think Battlefield, you've got the basic gist of it, but the big thing that I have with it anyway is just the fact that it's so broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you got Battlefield, you've got the basic gist of it. The main thing, what annoys me, is the fact that it's so broken anyway.
Yeah.
There's so many things. It feels a tiny bit like bits feel half-assed. There's clunky. It's a bit, there's just bits here, there, and everywhere. It just generally feels unfinished, and that is down to what I heard was um, the publishers just pushed the developers to release it out of, I think, like a beta stage or something like that.
Yeah.
They completely pushed them to all extents for a release, and they've just come out with such a faulty product. It's unreal. It's ridiculous, and which leads to my second major problem with it is the fact that it runs awfully. It's absolutely awful to run. It's terrible on every sort of standpoint.
Even if you're on low settings.
You can turn the settings down as low as you want, and it'll still run like naff. It'll. The reason being is because you need such a high-end processor to be able to cope with it. which you know it sort of makes sense. You know, you've got all this destruction and stuff happening,
but it
but
just wasn't optimized for other people that might want to play it. That's
I don't even think the fact that I don't even think the studio has heard of the word optimization. Honestly, you know, with my computer, you know, I could run Battlefield no problem. I could run
yeah,
it on I couldn't run it on max, but you know, I could run it and not have a problem with it. But you know, I turned the settings down to the lowest and you know stuff like that. And you know, it was out in the field, it was getting like 15 frames a second at the best. And you know, on a big game like that, it's on PC, it's not good.
yeah,
It just takes so much away from the game. It's ridiculous. It just wasn't fun. And like one of my friends was playing it, it was like, oh yeah, but it's still good. He really enjoyed it. I didn't. I just can't get past the fact that it runs so bad. You can't enjoy it when it's running like crap. It's
yeah,
and another thing that's the problem is because it's free to play. Of course, they've got to make money somehow, so you can buy in-game credits and you know upgrade stuff like that.
yeah. I heard it takes ages to rank up otherwise, or get like stuff if you
Yeah,
don't buy in.
yeah, it absolutely does. And the prices that you got to buy stuff, it's extremely steep as well. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's I'm glad it's free to play because I played about 2 hours of it and just uninstalled it because I just wasn't having it. I will probably back down and say, you know, a lot of these problems are probably due to the fact that its release was pushed. But
Yeah,
even then, even if it did run smoothly, I still probably couldn't enjoy it as much anyway because it's just such a big Battlefield clone.
yeah. I think the thing for me, from what I heard, because a lot of people bigged up the first one for me,
Yeah,
and like I never got into it because I just never had a PC. I always had a laptop until like last year,
yeah,
and I could never really play games on it. So everyone was like, "Oh, you should play PlanetSide with us." And then I sort of recognized the name when PlanetSide 2 was coming out. I thought, "Oh, maybe I should try it out." But then I realized like how much settings it was, and just to get it running
yeah,
decently, and it's just like I'll never be able to play that.
yeah. It's absolutely stupid how much of a like beastly processor you need to get it to run decently on lowest settings.
Yeah,
It's stupid. It probably will be patched in the future, but even then, I can't see myself enjoying the game anyway.
yeah.
Because
Damage is done.
yeah, it's not a good game at all in my opinion. What about you then? What's your next game?
Well, number three on my most disappointing worst list. This is probably more towards the worst side. Is Gotham City Imposters.
Oh, I
Now,
never played.
oh well, I had the beta
Yeah,
because I got in the beta for the Xbox version and I played it with friends. And basically, it's kind of like a FPS, sort of like Team Fortress 2.
yeah,
Um, but you're like these guys who want to be Batman or the Joker or something. Are just like the idea is kind of funny and stuff. And I left it and thought, oh, maybe this would be kind of interesting.
yeah.
But then it just was like it's sort of was a Call of Duty style game
Oh dear.
where like all the multiplayer thing, you had to unlock everything. It takes forever, and like it was like loadouts and stuff like that, and it just didn't play very well when I played it. And it's like only like I think it's like 5v5, 6v6 or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
And it's just I found it annoying to play, and I just didn't think it, as a standalone game it was good at all.
yeah,
Um, the gameplay wasn't great. It was like a slow Call of Duty. Instead, like Call of Duty is fast paced.
yeah.
It was like a very slow Call of Duty,
God.
and the different classes didn't really work because it did seem like it was trying to be Team Fortress 2. Because I mean, looking at it on Steam, it's free on Steam,
Yeah,
just like Team Fortress 2 is. But on the Xbox, it actually costs money to play it.
Yeah.
And see, I didn't buy the game because I played a beta enough. I played the beta for about 10 hours and just no. Even when I was playing with friends, I just didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that was bigged up to me. It was. I don't know if you heard much about it, but
It did seem to me like there were quite a bit of hype about it,
yeah. And
but
I think that was spawned because of like the recent Batman games, like the Arkham City, Arkham Asylum ones.
yeah, probably, and like the Dark Knight and stuff like that.
Yeah, and this doesn't touch anywhere near either of those. This is just I don't. It's just a very bad multiplayer FPS, which was trying to copy Team Fortress 2 and Call of Duty at the same time. It just didn't work.
Hmm.
To me, anyway. People might like it. Not many people playing it now, but I didn't
I
like it.
suppose that speaks for itself, to be honest.
Well,
It's not
yeah.
that if it started died out, then
I don't know if it ever cost anything on Steam, but maybe that's why it's free now. If it did.
God knows.
So yeah, I haven't got much to say to it about that one because I just hated it.
I haven't got much to say about it because I'm just like, oh, Gotham City imposters, whatever.
It's not worth your time. Don't worry. Like, think Team Fortress 2, but worse, and then you'll have it. Because I know Team Fortress 2 can be fun.
Yeah.
That Gotham City Imposters can't be fun. It's like pulling your toenails out with your bare fingers and then biting on where your toenail used to be.
That doesn't sound like a really nice thing to do.
Yeah, that's what it felt like playing it.
Oh dear. Let's move on.
Yep.
Okay, now here is where where I probably make a huge milkshake, and I'll probably go back on this.
Uh-oh.
But you see, I had a really hard time placing this game on my list. I was like, should I place? I really didn't have a clue where to put it, but I ended up putting it on my disappointed list because I was a bit disappointed, to be honest, and I think a lot of other people were. This game is Resident Evil 6. Oh, as much as I'd like to not have this here, it pains me to be disappointed with it.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of bad games that I could have easily put on this list, but to put this on, it's such a shame.
It's tearing me apart.
You're tearing me apart, Leon. But you see, you could take it with a pinch of salt. I mean, I went into it like, oh my god, Resident Evil, I have to have it because it's Resident Evil. I'm a fan of the series.
Yeah.
I didn't go in. I've had the mentality of the games now for a while that they're nothing like how they used to be. So just play them for what they are. Because for what they are not that bad.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 4, admittedly, is a pretty good game. Resident Evil 5, is okay. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
And I suppose in that respect, neither is Resident Evil 6, but it's still disappointing because I wasn't grasped by it at all. I wanted to like it so much. You're one of those games where you want to like it, but you can't
Yeah.
bring yourself to.
I know you were looking forward to it. I remember you're like,
Yeah,
oh my god, Resident Evil 6 is coming out soon. I'm gonna destroy this game and
yeah.
make it my bitch.
You know, I tried so hard with it. I just it's hard because I really wanted to like it, and when I first played it, I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm like, it's different, but it just didn't pull me in as much as other games have.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good things about it. I'm not saying it's a bad game at all, but from my expectations, Well, yeah, it's hard to know what I was expecting to going into it because I just don't know. I know one of my friends who was also one of the gang of like my group of friends who was like massive Resident Evil fans. He was absolutely disappointed, like, oh, this game's proper shit. I don't like it. Trading it in, getting Black Ops, and he actually did. He actually did trade it in for Black Ops.
Oh God.
But yeah, it's hard to say why it was disappointing. It was just one of those things where I don't know. I just don't think it holds anything to any of the others. I don't think it grasped me as much as I wanted it to.
Yeah, I can sort of see why. I mean, I've seen bits of it,
Yeah.
and like the three different. Oh,
Bless you.
excuse me. I know what you mean. No, like there's like the three different campaigns in it, isn't it? Like three
Yeah.
different styles of
Well,
campaign.
actually, these four campaigns, and you know what? I will praise them on that. I do think that there is quite a lot of content there.
Yeah,
You know, there's 5 chapters in each campaign, and each chapter can take, on your first time, they took me 40 minutes to an hour to complete, which is
yeah.
quite a lot of gameplay, to be honest, which
Well, it
I
is.
praise him on that. But the fact that I didn't find it fun as much as I wanted it to. You know, it's hard. It's a lot harder than I expected it to be. It does seem a bit too hard at times. You know,
Yeah.
it just seems like a bit dickish.
Like, just decided to make it ramp up the difficulty just for the hell of it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But
Like, is it sort of that situation where they've ramped up the difficulty to extend the game?
quite possibly. But I played through it on normal and I had trouble, which is never something that's happened on Resident Evil before.
Yeah.
And then there's professional difficulty, which is basically dick mode. On Resident Evil 5, that was an absolute twat.
Yeah.
Get hit once, you're dead. Ah! But I'm not saying it's a bad game. I think one thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it has on disc DLC that you have to buy.
That's just Capcom, though. That's the thing. They
Yeah,
do it with all of their games.
that's one thing that really knocked me down. I was like, really, you cheap ass bastards. I'm probably not going to buy that DLC.
Yeah.
And some of the story elements they were a bit annoying. Like, not to spoil anything, but a certain boss, you kill him. You're like, yes, I killed him, and he's like, nope, I'm back for more. He does it. He probably does it about 4 or 5 times. No, I'm not
Yeah.
exaggerating. You're like, big epic battle. You're like, yes, I killed him. Nope. It's fucking annoying. There are some good moments in the story. I haven't completed every single campaign yet because I just wasn't that into it. But
Yeah.
it's it's painful because it's painful to know that I got more enjoyment out of Operation Raccoon City, knowing how well that did.
Yeah. That didn't do very well at all, and I think a
Yeah,
lot of people put that down fairly quickly as well.
yeah. I played a lot more of Operation Raccoon City, and I enjoyed it a lot more than Resident Evil 6. And I think Resident Evil's just a co-op of. I mean, sorry, it's just a victim of the whole co-op train. Hey, if we had co-op, it would be better. No, it
Yeah.
won't.
I think if they want to do co-op for it, they should make it a separate storyline on the game or something.
Yeah, it's like my personal opinion, the reason Resident Evil 4 did so well is because it was single player.
Yeah.
You know,
I think if they just made that co-op, I don't think it would have been as good.
yeah, exactly. And you look at like Dead Space 3, that looks absolutely that just like they've killed the entire thing because they've added co-op.
Yeah, I don't know
Because
how it's gonna work at all.
when like Resident Evil is supposed to be like one of the pioneers for the horror genre, is supposed to be like the granddaddy. along with like Silent Hill and you know it's supposed to be the horror series, and yet you
Yeah.
add it just it's not scary anymore. Resident Evil 4 even though they changed the thing quite a lot, it was scary at times,
Yeah.
which is something that Resident Evil 5 absolutely cocked up at. It was absolutely horrible for horror. And then, the rage of like, oh, there's no hope left for the world. This is horror redefined, and
Oh,
all that. It's not in the slightest. It's, and everyone was happy that they brought zombies back, but,
zombies with guns.
well, it's not so much that. They're just fucking, uh, I don't know. Like, yeah, zombies are iconic to Resident Evil, but at the same time, you've taken what's iconic to Resident Evil, which is the old gameplay elements. You took
Yeah.
them out years ago. But, it's still Resident Evil. I'm still a chump and I'll probably still buy it.
Well, I'm the same way with like just like the stupid Guitar Hero games or Halo games or
Yeah,
like no matter what, I'll end up buying it, even if I guess that's what some people do with Call of Duty. Some people anyway, not all of them.
yeah,
It's just like,
but
oh, I own all the others. I'll buy the next one.
like again, I'm not saying it's a bad game. And I'd say pick it up if you can. But it's definitely not up there with the best games of the year.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, this is coming from like
Uber
big,
Resident Evil fan.
yeah, like one of the biggest fans ever. So, ugh, it sucks. It sucks to have to say that it sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, next game.
Well, I'm that way with the next game, I think.
Oh dear.
Actually,
Halo
no.
4, it sucks.
I don't know if I'm gonna put this at number two or number one. I think I'll probably leave this one to last. But right, yeah, I'll leave that one to last. Right, number two for most disappointing or worst game. 007 Legends.
Oh,
Never before my Jimmy's been so rustled over a Bond game. I love the Bond games and movies, and like you know, yeah, there's been some great Bond games. Like
yeah,
I know the Bond license has been all over the place for games, but
yeah.
I mean Nintendo and Rare had had it. They made GoldenEye.
007 Racing, mate.
I never played it. I saw it before
I
though.
loved it. It was awesome.
Um, and EA had their license afterwards. They did like Worlds Not Enough. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, N64 version anyway. PS1 version's naff as all hell. Um, then they actually made original ones as well though on the EA license. EA made original Bond titles like they made Agent Under Fire, Night Fire,
I
and
actually, I actually liked those games.
yeah, and Everything or Nothing, which actually had Pierce Brosnan in doing the voice and lookalike as well,
Yeah.
which was pretty cool. And it was a different style of gameplay too. And apparently, From Russia with Love is really good because Sean Connery did.
Yeah, I had that, and it was really good that game. I loved
Yeah,
it.
even though it got horrible reviews for some reason.
Did it?
Got
Oh,
like fours out of 10 and stuff like that.
I absolutely loved it.
And
It was
a lot of
it was
people
a
say
good
it was really
game.
good. But then, like in recent times, Bond games haven't been to scratch. Let's put it that way. Like ever since Activision got the license, um, like there's been a couple. I think they did Quantum of Solace and Bloodstone.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like Bloodstone's supposed to be the original one. And Quantum of Solace is just a movie, but they weren't very good apparently. Or Bloodstone was supposed to be good, but nobody played it.
Yeah.
But then they made the remake of GoldenEye onto the Wii. Except
Mm.
for they changed the storyline to fit Daniel. What's his face?
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. That's him. To fit
Yeah.
his character and make the Bond game movie story more like the current Bond style of movies right now.
Yeah.
Which I guess was a cool idea at the time, but most people wanted GoldenEye, not Daniel Craig in. something that's kind of like GoldenEye in places, which is what happened with this game. This game is even worse than GoldenEye Reloaded, which was kind of like a slow Call of Duty.
Oh God.
Like this gameplay is slow Call of Duty. That's why I call it gameplay style. Slow Call of Duty. It's got like quick time events. It's got
Oh no.
stupid in-game cutscenes where you like, you know which ones I mean. In-game cutscenes where you're sort of like walking around waiting to push a button
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's got like cover stuff. I don't know. It's not very good at all. And the thing is, to make this game, they picked probably six of the worst Bond movies and took a mission, made a mission out of them all, and still changed the story of each mission to fit Daniel Craig's character. So and then it still plays like Call of Duty, it's ever very slow.
Jesus.
And it's how do you make this game so bad? It's just unbelievably stupid how they've done it. Uh, I mean, come on, who wants to play a mission from on Her Majesty's Secret Service? That movie's the one where Bond gets married.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh God.
spoilers for a 40-year-old movie.
Snape kills Dumbledore.
But you know, how can you make a mission out of that one? They got like they haven't even got any of the Bond movies in there, from what I remember. They got like Die Another Day in there. They got
I like that film.
it's a terrible film. That
Yeah.
theme song.
Well, yeah, the theme song's not really any good.
Yeah, I think they had Living Daylights and a Moonraker. Come on. I
Good
mean,
old
they had
Moonraker.
a Moonraker mission in GoldenEye on the N64.
Yeah.
It was really well done, and it wasn't exactly. It was still following the story to an extent, and it was just a bonus mission at the end of the day. It wasn't part of like, oh, James Bond. Guess what? You're going to go here now. Not like this one is. And you know, you got to fight Jaws in it. Like, it was just awesome fighting Jaws in that game. And then
Yeah.
this game sort of like, quick time events. It's disgusting what they've done to the Bond license, Activision. Just like, just making the game this way so it sells, and then nobody's buying it,
Yeah.
which is stupid. You'd think they'd
You'd,
learn from that.
you'd think to take the hint that like the lack of originality in games now is a bit depressing.
Yeah, it's sort of. I just don't understand it. And it just really rustled my jimmies because I thought, I mean, knew as soon as the name came out of the game, it was going to be awful.
Yeah.
That says a lot for a game to me.
God.
And the fact that when I saw the level list for the game and what movies they were taking levels from, it's got worse. And then, like, the selling point for the game after, like, towards when it was coming out was, oh, we're going to put a Skyfall mission in there, but it's going to come out a couple of weeks after Skyfall's been released, so it doesn't spoil Skyfall.
Hmm.
Which I think is kind of cool, but then it's like nobody's going to be playing the game long enough to want that.
Yeah, you've got a point, to be honest.
And the multiplayer in it was naff as well. They had like I can't remember if this was in this game, but like in GoldenEye Reloaded, there's like a MI6 mode, which was kind of like special ops in Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
It was sort of like that, and that was just kind of pointless. I just, I don't know. It's terrible. I just, God,
Oh dear.
that's. I think this one's bad. Imagine what the first one's gonna be.
At least the current films are all right.
Yeah, no, the films are good, but now the games suck. It's not like where the games were good and the movies were good. It's just like
Yeah.
sort of crap all around there for like the game side. And I think they should just give EA the license back.
Well, yeah, but then you'd have to pay to have it on, like, it'd be on Origin, and then you'd have to pay for your online pass, and you'd just be ripped off in general.
Possibly, yeah. But I don't know. As long as it was a good game, I would pay that extra money.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
So yeah, rant over.
Yeah,
Never buy it. Don't even not even if it's like a £2. Don't buy it. $2. Don't buy it ever. Leave it to rot in the bottom of the bargain bin.
oh dear.
So 4 down, one to go.
Right. Now, I've been, like, in my head, I've just been debating which game to do now, but I've decided to go with like save the my honestly the worst game of the year to last.
Yeah, that's what I've done. I think.
Yeah, that's what I've done, but you could sort of debate. It's hard to debate which one I hate the most,
Yeah.
but I've decided to talk about McFucking Pixel.
Oh, I
Ugh.
thought that was your best game of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I've got it on the wrong list.
It's a typo.
Oh, I just can't grasp why this game is so popular. I, I don't like it at all. It, why is it doing so well? Why did it get greenlit? Why is it being sold for money? Why?
Why does it exist?
Why? Seriously, it doesn't even seem that fun. It's fucking stupid. I don't like the style of gameplay. Its style is fucking stupid. I'm getting sick of the amount of 8-bit games that are appearing. It's getting fucking annoying. Ah, it doesn't seem that fun to play. You know, I haven't played it for myself, but I've seen enough gameplay to make my own fucking decisions.
I don't think playing it would make much of a difference with how much there is to do in that game, to be
Yeah,
honest.
exactly. There's like one solution to everything. The music gets on my fucking nerves. The game, uh, it, it, like it's marketed as like wacky fun. No, it's not. It's it's. I can't even describe how much I hate this fucking game. It's not worth the amount you pay for it at all. It should be given away for free. And it was given away for free. That's the thing. Like, apparently it was made, and then a lot of torrents where people started torrenting it or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the actual developer just went, yeah, yeah, cool, and he just started giving away like links to torrents or something like that. So he basically just gave his own game away for free, which is all it's fucking worth. Well, actually, no. Developers should pay us to play it because it's that awful. I've never been so biased towards a game as McPixel because I can't
Oh
even
dear.
begin to wrap my head around how much I hate this game. Just like when it came on the flash sale the other day, and I was like, "It's just you
I
dare
know
buy it."
you
You,
sent me a
you-
message and you're just like, just
yeah,
so
it was
angry.
it was funny because I was waiting for Sleeping Dogs to come on the flash sale, and McPixel came up. I was like, "You bastard!" And I was like, "You dare buy it, me? You dare?"
I just wanted to buy it just for the reason of today.
Oh, oh, if you did, if you did, that would ruin my entire Steam collection. It would proper ruin it.
You know it'd be the best.
Oh, I hate it. Can we just stop talking about it? Ugh.
But it's like I suppose that's actually a worst one. I expect it to be the top for you.
Uh, See, I do hate it, but I have it on good authority for the game, my worst game. Because it was a mixture of disappointment and the fact that it's awful. It's my top
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
It's to me for mine's more disappointing.
Mm.
But I to me it was awful anyway, just because how it played anyway.
Yeah. Well, anything to add on McPixel?
Uh, 8-bit games. Why so many? That's all I can think of. It just like there's been a sudden influx of them lately.
It's just like the indie gaming community. It's like, hey, you know what? We're all hipster douchebags. It just seems like 8-bit is like the hipster thing to do now.
Yeah,
Why? It's
nobody
like,
knows.
yeah, like the odd 8-bit game's all right, I suppose. Like you like Bit Trip Runner and like stuff like that. But the massive influx of them, it's just unneeded, and Megapixel just sucks. It's a terrible game. It's absolutely terrible.
uh, God.
Right, go on then. What's your worst game of the year?
Oh dear. Well, it's time for number one. Number
Halo
one.
4. It sucks. What the hell?
Scream.
What the fuck was that?
It was a scream. Oh god. Yeah, my number one worst, most disappointing game, which is both really, is Mass Effect 3.
Oh,
And I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon being like, oh, the ending sucks like everyone else does. Or saying, BioWare, fix your game because it sucks. I'm not one of those people. The game is just horrible.
explain.
Well, right, I was late to Mass Effect anyway. My
Yeah,
friends always talked about the first one when that came out. They were playing it. They were like, "Oh my god, it's awesome! You should get it." And like I picked up the second one for fairly cheap,
yeah.
and the second one was brilliant. Like
Mhm.
the story, the gameplay, the cinematics, the music, like all of it was great. Like if I made a game of the year list for that year it came out,
Yeah.
I don't know which year it came out because I actually got it like a year or two later.
Mhm.
So like I played it and like it was a great story. It was I like cared about the squad members. I wanted to learn more about them. I wanted to learn more about the universe around, go to visit all planets and everything. And then like the third one was coming out. I was like, yes, a third one. If it's as good as this one, it'll be good. And then like you go get it. I played a demo. I thought, oh well, this is just a demo. This isn't a true representation of the game. It'll be okay. This demo was kind of short and boring, and the multiplayer isn't great. But I can go past that. It's going to be good. I know it's going to be good. And I was ultimately disappointed throughout the entire game. It was nerfed down so badly. It watered down. There was no more planet exploration. You couldn't like explore planets for minerals or like new missions or anything. You
Mm.
you got less squad members than you had in the last game, but they only make half of them only make cameos in this game. So you can't
Yeah.
even like use them in your squad or talk to them often or anything. So then you sort of, and then like your new squad members suck. There's like you don't really care about them at all. You can't get into them. Well, I couldn't get into them, and like it's just come on. The stupid thing that Shepard has about the stupid kid that gets killed near the start, and he keeps having visions about him getting killed over and over again. When it's those do my head in. The gameplay, I don't know what they did to the gameplay. It felt weird to me. It sort of like felt like they broke it.
Yeah.
Um, they had it like the cover mechanics and stuff worked more better, like more fluently. I mean,
Yeah.
so like you could be like jumping across over some cover, but then suddenly get into another piece of cover like really fast and fluently and be
Yeah.
like nice. But it seemed like the guns were super weak. They didn't do anything at all. Your AI teammates didn't seem like they knew what they were doing half the time.
Yeah.
The game, I don't know, it's just there was not enough variety in the enemies because you were just fighting the same two sets of enemies over and over again,
Yeah.
and they didn't really like they kept bigging up these huge enemies called Reapers, like they're these huge aliens that just going to destroy the universe,
Yeah.
and you only fight two in the entire game. No, you fight one in the game actually.
So,
And
well,
it's not even the head one that you has been trying to kill you in the second game.
Fair enough.
And I don't know. It's like you go to Earth. Earth sucks, and like this is the first one where you go to Earth and it sucks. Um, the missions on it are terrible. The final mission is boring as hell. Like it's short and boring. It's not like big and epic like the second one was.
Yeah,
And you don't risk losing your squad mates throughout that final mission. Like even though you can only take two people at once, you took your
yeah,
entire team on Mass Effect 2. And if
yeah,
people got killed on it, that was it. They were dead. You couldn't get them back for the rest of that mission or the rest of the game. And they
yeah.
wouldn't be in Mass Effect 3 either.
Mm.
And I just why? What the story? They've left so many millions of plot holes in the game. It's like these huge things they kept talking about in Mass Effect 2 and 1. They kept
Yeah,
talking about all these huge things, part of the story, like black dark matter or like where the Reapers come from, why they're going to destroy the universe and stuff. And then they completely throw all that out the window and just decide, you know what, space magic, and just
magic.
everything's magic. Then at the ending was the least of my worries after the rest of the game. The side missions are terrible. You don't have a indication of where your side missions are anymore. You sort of have to guess.
Oh God.
And like it's hidden away on your start menu somewhere as well now. It's you don't go well. You're exploring the planets. You could usually find you'd have like a marker on it saying, "Oh, this thing's here." So you go to that cluster of planets and you go and explore it. But and now this is like someone will be like, "Oh, I need a book to encourage my people to fight." So
Yeah,
you have to go on a suicide mission into this Reaper-dominated area and risk getting yourself killed in your ship, just so you can pick
yeah.
up a book of a planet, and you don't even get a mission or combat scene or anything in it.
Oh well.
It's just a fetch quest, and a very, very rubbish one.
God. You see, like I have zero experience with Mass Effect at all, but I'm about to because a friend gifted me the original game on Steam
Yeah.
because he's like, "Hey, you've got to check this out. Mass Effect's awesome. Oh my God, I love it. It's like best series ever." Oh.
He
So
obviously never played a third one.
yeah, I mean, he has, but he's like, I'm not sure what his opinion is on it, but yeah, so like, fair enough. For fuck's sake, just stop talking. If you want me to try it, and I'll buy it in Steam sale, and he bought it me like a Christmas present or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought, fair enough. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. Even though it seems that Mass Effect 3 sucks, I'll play through all of them if I get a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, see, it's really weird because I seem to forget like the gameplay of Mass Effect is sort of like, is it like a third-person shooter sort of?
It's a third-person shooter with RPG elements.
Yeah. Well, you see, from the exposure I've had of Mass Effect 3, I haven't seen anything to suggest that it's a third-person shooter. See, the only thing I know, I just think all it is just Shepard and friends in his spaceship. That's
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the Mass Effect series. The only thing I've seen to do with Mass Effect really is the Mass Effect gamer poops, which are absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
Which he just paints it as like Shepard is supposed to be saving the Earth. He's got big budget. He blows half of budget on like buying an aquarium for his spaceship, and all he does is bang his crew members, and you know, it's. I laugh at it for like from that perspective, but I can't comment on Mass Effect 3 because I've never played it. From the exposure from what I've seen of it, it seems like I would like to pick it up just to see what all the fuss is about because from what I've seen with the aquarium purchasing and all that. I just really want to know how it plays.
Yeah,
But there's a big problem with that, which is, the only thing that I can legitimately say well, why it sucks for me, even though I've never
it's
played
on
it,
Origin.
yeah, it's some fucking Origin. EA, you're assholes.
Oh, there's so many problems with like, you know, the talking between characters is a big part of the series as well.
Yeah,
The third one, a lot of the options seem to be very samey. Like, you usually get a good option, a middle option, and a bad option. And then,
yeah,
like, maybe investigate where you like LA Noire, but find out some more about what they're
doubt,
talking about.
doubt and shout.
But, like, you'll talk to them. Usually, you pick a good option, you get some, like, some paragon for your good meter to raise up. So you get,
Yeah,
like, better good options in conversations, and then like bad ones of one. But the bad ones are usually funny.
yeah,
In this one, it's just like slightly more shouty version of what he says in the truth, like the good option. And
yeah.
it's just like, what have you done? Why?
Mm.
It had some awesome moments in Mass Effect 2. You could play it, like just play a whole bad run or something, and he'd say some of the funniest things ever.
Yeah,
And in this one, it's just like, oh, I'm angry at you because you won't do as I say. And like, come on.
oh dear.
Oh god, this game. And then the multiplayer is just shit.
Well,
Like
I
it's a tacked on horde mode, a very bad tacked on horde mode.
yeah, that's the impression that I got of it when I saw some gameplay of it. I was like, mm, eh.
And like they kept saying, oh, it's like a co-op experience in Mass Effect. It's co-op, but I wouldn't say it's experience. It's
You see,
crap.
I think I got the general gist of it when the internet exploded of how bad the ending was, and they actually didn't they release a different ending?
No,
Or
they refused to change the ending or release a new one. So what they did was they added a couple of stills onto each of the three endings with a bit of a voiceover over top of them to explain a bit more about what happened. And it changed
oh,
something slightly in each ending as well, like it shows Shepard's ship flying away, like reason why it flies away now instead of just flying away and getting blown up for no reason. And then they added a fourth ending, which is the most pointless ending ever, because they were too proud of their story to change it, even though they knew it was bad. Otherwise, they wouldn't have made the DLC in the first place.
yeah,
If they were that proud and they knew it wasn't bad. So, and then like the the first DLC, like there was day one DLC on it, which sucked. The thing is, it had a key character in it, like one of the species from the older games that have been mentioned throughout them,
yeah.
and it's like an actual living one of those, and you want to learn about them, and it sucks. You get a 30-minute mission, and it sucks, and you have him as a squad mate, but it's like you have to pay like 500 Microsoft points for it, something like that,
Really?
for 30 minutes,
God, that's
and then
nah.
like they had to make more DLC. They made more DLC. Yes, there's probably got more coming out, but the two pieces of DLC that come out for it should have been in the game because they were big parts of the other two games.
Yeah.
And now you sort of have to download them and then replay the entire game just to get to those points.
Wow. Seems like game of the year.
And yeah, the ending sucks as well. All four endings suck. I didn't play the fourth one though because I beat it before the DLC came out, and I can't
Yeah.
believe I pre-ordered this game. It makes me disappointed. And I'm just glad I didn't pay full price for it. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because I'll play Mass Effect 1 and see how I go with that. Then if I like it, I suppose I'll get Mass Effect 2 on Steam. But as for Mass Effect 3, I'll probably pick up an old copy on Xbox because I refuse to own it on Origin.
Yeah.
That is if
The
I
thing
decide
is,
to.
it doesn't seem like with Mass Effect 2, you could jump into it without knowing anything about the first one. The
Yeah.
third one, it sort of expects you to know a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and you can have an option to dumb down the game as well in it to make it so like you don't pick any options yourself, and the game just picks them for you.
That seems a bit
Which,
cheap.
yeah, considering it's a big part of the game.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely it's not. I won't even say a 2 out of 10. Don't play. It's just terrible. No, Lord Smough doesn't approve. Ainsley Harriott couldn't save this game. Put a dash of pepper on it.
Ainsley Harriott, Commander Shepard.
You could probably make him on a Mass Effect 2.
That'd be the best thing ever.
It's just you have Shepard's voice. So
Ah,
I think I ran
right.
to about 20 minutes there for that one. Right,
Ah,
your worst game of the year.
right. And you can probably guess what it is.
Maybe.
Fucking Daisy. Yeah, people are like, "Oh my God, Daisy's best game ever. It's so good."
Chog, Daisy's the best game ever because it's an open world zombie game, and it's not even a game; it's a mod.
But right, let me explain this. When I first Daisy randomly started to appear, and I can't remember where I saw it first now, but
I think I
it's
saw it
like,
on a random video. I think someone I watched randomly did videos on it.
oh yeah, yeah, it was it barely took off at the time, like the first time I saw it.
Yeah,
It had just gone into alpha, and you know, it was like really buggy. I was like, whatever. And you know, so as time went on, like it just exploded in popularity, and like everyone started to like know what it was. I was like, oh my God, open world zombie game. There's like got loads of people and loot, and you survive, and you get like thirst and hunger, and like this big massive map and all that stuff. I was like, whoa, this is gonna be the best game that's ever been made, because like I said in other podcast, it was like exactly what we'd been like clamoring for.
yeah.
It's just
Like
like,
all
it,
zombie fans, anyone who's like played a zombie game ever, pretty much wants something like this.
yeah, we're all like, we're all just sitting like, if we could make games, we'd make something like this. And then it
Yeah.
came along, like, whoa!
Stole
So,
my idea, suing you, taking you to court.
so then like really hyped up for it. Like we knew what the gameplay were like. We're like, fair enough, whatever. And um, and then it was the summer sale, the 2012, where like by then Daisy was like crazy popular. It was like
Yeah,
Arma 2 Operations was like the biggest selling thing on Steam.
because it only came out in April. Like, and then also it was a huge jump in like everybody wanting it and playing it and stuff
Yeah, it
by the
was
summer.
absolutely stupid, like how popular it was. And we waited for it for ages, and eventually it came on sale. And I had two of my mates over at the time. At the time I bought it, and we downloaded it, we installed it. At first, the installation process was a bit of a bastard, which is a bit of a knock, to be honest. But
Yeah,
for a mod, it was like fair enough, I suppose. And first we got acquainted with the Arma 2 tutorials, which they're absolutely hilarious, but the tragic. Like, they're so funny. Oh,
so funny.
like that bad. You can't even do anything but laugh at them. And like we got Daisy and stuff. Like, oh my God, and like but because we've been waiting for it for that long, we just started like you put up with like how clunky it was, because by then I'd watched Northern Lion play Daisy. I knew what it were like. So I knew, and like it's not like I was disappointed straight away. It took a while to be disappointed by it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, Daisy, like, I got it with one of my mates, and we were planning to, like, all like best buddies with zombie apocalypse, all that, would survive for days, and watch each other's back and all that. And for like for the first few times, it was like really good.
Yeah.
You're by yourself in this big, massive place. You don't have a weapon. There's like a big hostile environment. It's absolutely a massive map. And from that, like I'd say your first lives are the best ones because as soon as you know how the game plays and know what you're doing, the game just sucks. Because I think that's when I start to drop off because uh, I started to play other games anyway,
Yeah.
and then you know I started to lose interest in it just because once you know what you're doing, I don't know how like there's a set piece, how you find out where you spawn, you go to the nearest city, you get loot, and then you just head north, you go to the airfield, and
It just becomes the same thing over and over again.
yeah, and I think it's a lot more fun when you don't know what you're doing, when you're by yourself and you're just trying to survive by yourself when you barely know anything. But like when you know the game inside out, I don't think it's fun at all. But then I don't know when it hit me because I didn't play it for a while, and then it just hit me all of a sudden the fact that Arma 2 is the worst game ever.
Yeah.
I don't know where it hit me because I was fine with Arma, and then I just sort of realized, like, hang on, you know what? This game is absolutely terrible on every single platform it tries to go on. Or every single aspect of it is absolutely horrible. It's that bad. It's laughable. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even begin to describe it. I made a video on it because it was that bad. It's like it's like the most realistic engine. It's like it strives for realism so much that it just breaks itself.
Like where you tried to do that thing, that movement over a fence or something, and it doesn't look like you're doing it, and then also you sort of phase through the fence.
Yeah, exactly. It's so broken. It's broken on so many levels, and it's laughable. Honestly, it's just like the engine on. I just wish that the DayZ developers had. I can see why they chose the Arma 2 engine because of its, it's.
It's only one guy.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why he chose that engine because it's got a lot of stuff to it. But at the same time, that engine is like the worst engine ever.
The only thing I can think of is because it's becoming a standalone game eventually.
I've got a funny thing to say about that, but carry on.
I was thinking like maybe it'll have its own engine, but I somehow doubt it. It'll probably use the Arma 3 engine.
Do you want to know what's funny?
For what?
I thought the same thing. Um, I had like read an article that Daisy's Bohemia are working with the DayZ developers and stuff like that. It's going to be its own standalone game.
Yeah.
And I did actually on that article it said they were going to work together with Bohemia's new engine, which is assumably Arma 3.
Yeah.
Well, apparently it's not going to be anything like that. The standalone version is just going to be on the Arma 2 engine, which is essentially
What?
the mod.
You see, I heard somewhere about like the Arma 3 people being like, "Oh, we should just have this as part of our game anyway." Like, and just put it in the Arma 3 game. That's something I heard in an
And
article somewhere.
I also heard the thing that made me laugh. Bohemia, I think they delayed Arma 3 or they did something with it because um, they want or no, I think they're going to release the standalone before Arma 3 and they delayed it
Yeah.
because they want um, because they want to make Arma 3 the best it can be and stuff like that. They want this year to be about Armor 3 for them.
Yeah.
It's like, if I could tell them, I'd just tell them to fuck off. DayZ put Bohemia on the map. I had never heard of Armor before that.
No, I don't know a
I had
single
n-
person that had heard of it before.
I had never heard of Bohemia Interactive before that. And did you expect people to buy Armor 3 for Armor 3?
I didn't even know there was Armor 1. I didn't even know there was
Exactly.
Armor 2.
Exactly, and that's my point. But like the game is so, you know, the concept of Daisy is good, but the fact that it's armor that lets it down, and I suppose in a sense I'm bitching more about armor than I am Daisy.
Yeah.
But the fact that you know I paid,
You had to
it
buy
did,
armor to play Daisy.
I had to buy armor to play Daisy, which was it didn't come cheap, because Gabe, Almighty Gabe, and he knew what was going on, so he bumped up the price of the combined operations. I think in the sale I got it for like £15, I think.
Yeah, I've got it for £15. I don't even run on my PC.
Yeah, yeah, it was something like that anyway. And you know, yeah, and I regret buying it now. I really do. I don't see it as fun to play anymore, and thousands of people are going to disagree with me, but I just don't see it fun, and that's the reason. Like, obviously now I'm going against my word of what I said before. The fact that I said that Warzy is better than Daisy, but it turns out that Warzy people are absolutely full of shit and they've fucked up on so many levels.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I was giving them a bit the benefit of the doubt. I was like, yeah, the beta may suck, but
meanwhile
it'll
it's
it'll get
swimming
better.
through grass.
It's just yeah, it'll get better. It's only in beta and it looks a lot smoother than Daisy,
Oh, it's a
but
scam.
but yeah, it does seem a bit sketchy. But yeah, the fact that I paid for Arma 2 when I had no intention of wanting it for Daisy, and then they're going to release the standalone version on the Arma 2 engine anyway. That is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard anyway. I'm not sure if it's true or not,
I'm not
but
sure. I've heard all sorts.
like one of my friends had randomly said like it saw it that I think he regularly looks at their page or something because he actually likes Daisy. Um, they've actually confirmed that it's going to be on the Arma 2 engine, which, what is the point? You might as, I can understand. I can understand if you give people that have bought Arma 2 for Daisy access to the standalone version,
Yeah,
then I can just, I can see that. I'd be a bit miffed if you had to buy it again, which would be the case.
I think it is the case.
But the fact that if you're going to make the standalone version on the Arma 2 engine, why don't you just convert all your attention to the mod? Because that is basically it.
Well, yeah.
It's uh, I out of all the games, I do not find it fun at all. I did for about a couple of hours at first, but then it just dawned on me that this is awful.
Yeah.
You, you know what? I mean, McPixel's popular, and that's an absolute piece of garbage, but that can be swept under the floor because it's an indie game, sort of things that you look down and go, ha, look at that piece of shit.
People bought this.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, do you think Daisy's so popular? And I don't see. Surely some people have got to share the same opinion out of the millions of people. Well, I think they've clocked over 1 million players, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. I think you can see it on the Daisy website actually.
Surely someone in those numbers, aside from me, had just got, you know what? This game plays like absolute like naff. It's horrible. If you can't get past the gameplay, if the gameplay isn't fun, then it's not a fun game to play. Especially
Yeah.
when that's the thing with it, I suppose. I mean, Arma 2 in general, that's just funny. I laugh at Arma 2 for how bad that is.
It's because it's supposed to be so serious, though, that one as well.
Yeah, but
Because it's supposed to be the most realistic, like, combat simulator or whatever.
it's supposed to be hardcore realism, but you know what? The most realistic experience I've seen in war is Battlefield.
Yeah, I'd probably say that.
Even though, you know,
Well, I
there's some
mean, there's still things in it that are like, yeah, that wouldn't happen in reality.
jumping out of jets, parachuting, nuking someone else's jet, then jumping in your own jet again and flying away.
Yeah, something like that wouldn't happen. But
Yeah,
as far as like the combat and like vehicles and damage and everything goes,
yeah, I think Battlefield have done it right in terms of realism.
yeah,
But you know, for as far as you know, I'll acknowledge the work that they put into Daisy, but you know, it's in my opinion, it's just absolutely the worst game of the year. Even though it's only a mod, but it's still a game. I think it has to be acknowledged as a game because it's been released as a game, and the fact that over 1 million people are playing it.
well, yeah. I mean, it's not something you just look over.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you can look over Pixel because
People are gonna buy that, probably play it like once or twice, and be like, "Yeah, this is like just a joke, isn't it? It's got to be a joke."
yeah, exactly. And then you look at Daisy, and it's just like the massive behemoth of a chuffing like mod it is, and oh, I can't stand it. I honestly can't. The game is so clunky. It's unreal. You know, because it's a mod, it sometimes can be more broken than what fucking the armor is.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I remember that that was it. The reason I stopped playing at first is because they had a graphical glitch in it, and it was you couldn't see anything. It was really weird to explain. All you saw was like weird shapes on the screen. It was like triangles and stuff, but it was like
Yeah,
just one triangle. And what it was like a body that was on the other end of the map. It was sort of, or like trash cans or something. They would sort of stretch, and they would just, but you know, basically take up the entirety of the map. So all you saw was black and perhaps one of the bits of the textures or something.
kind of like when a body stretches out in a game, just like
Yeah,
random.
sort of like that, but it was like on a massive scale, and you basically couldn't play it.
Especially
And
on this map, that map is supposed to be absolutely huge as well, isn't it? So it's like, imagine
yeah,
how big that is when you actually got to the spot where it was originating from.
yeah, exactly. It was honestly unplayable. And that's another thing because it's armor. It takes quite a bit of beef to run.
Yeah,
So for like budget PCs like mine, it doesn't run too great yet. Yeah, you have to in like you know in like really built up areas, the frame rate suffers a hell of a lot.
well, I mean, I get bad frame rate on the actual menu of Arma 2. Never mind
Yeah,
PC.
it takes a lot of beef to run, which I you know it's a mod, so I can let it off for that. But
Yeah.
uh, I can't. I don't think I can go on any longer. It's so bad. I'm so disappointed with it. Oh no, no! Before that, it was a twat to set up as well. It was what you have to do. You have to install the Arma 2 and Arma 2 Operation Arrowhead. You have to have them. You have to at least launch them once. You have to download like a certain Arma 2 beta patch, which they keep updating, and then you have to keep your version of DayZ updated. You've got to make the folders. You've got to, you know, it's a lot of pissing about.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to do all sorts. But luckily, there is like an application you can download now that basically does it all for you, which is like is the thing that the game most needed. Decided to be not on the Armor engine, but yeah, but still, it's not exactly a saving grace. It's still Daisy, and I still hate it with a passion, and I still regret buying it.
Yeah. It's from just looking at videos, the idea of the game and like how I mean, I like the like you got the menu where you can see all your stuff in your backpack and everything.
Yeah,
I can understand why the game was picked
Yeah.
for the mod because the whole idea of having to eat and drink and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's just the engine itself is broken.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much exactly why I hate it. Like, the idea is a brilliant idea. The fact that I don't like the setting that much either as well because it's too rural for my taste. I would prefer like like a big city sort of thing.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Right.
So that was our worst games of the year.
It was. A couple of bad ones in there. Mainly McPixel, Mass Effect 3, 007 Legends, and Daisy.
Don't forget Black Ops 2.
Oh yeah, but everyone expects that to be bad, and then people will complain and go and play the one before anyway, like they always do.
Yeah. Ah,
Right. So the next time we come back, we'll be back with the other list. I can't remember the
it
name.
was honourable mentions. Basically, the games that we think like deserve some acknowledgement for the year. That are good games that we didn't play too much of, or we just couldn't fit them on our top 10.
Yep. And yeah, we'll be back with that for the next part.
Hooray!